Dale, first of all, the season's now finished. First thing, can you give us an update on the football department side of things?
Yeah, Gareth, so obviously the season finished a couple of weeks ago. I think before we say anything on the football department, huge praise has to go to Dougie, Andy, the staff and the players for another 5th place finish in what is the most competitive league probably in the world. You know, 2 weeks before the end of the season, you were sitting there thinking you could finish 5th or you could finish 9th. So it's great testament to the guys that we managed to get over the line into 5th. It's 2 5th place finishes for the manager now, and it's great testament to what's happened. Obviously, we put out the retained list last week. The manager is beavering away on what comes next, and it's purely right now our job to support him and make sure that the infrastructure is put around him in a football sense to make the club continue to grow and thrive.
And just over a fortnight ago as well, season tickets went on sale. Where are we with them at present? So
season tickets were probably a quarter of the way to where we want to be. We would like to see the season ticket number grow. We've put a wee bit more effort into it this year in terms of going out and trying to get our messaging really clear around the heartbeat of Inverclyde, which is now our official strapline, and wanting to represent this community and the people of Inverclyde more than we have done before. So the response has been really good. I think everyone will agree that we've tried to do the supporters' return with the early bird and freezing last season's prices in that early bird period. And listen, the uptake has been good. I think in the first 24 hours this year we were ahead of where we were in the first 24 hours the previous year. But we need to keep on growing. We need to keep on building on those numbers and make sure that when the first game swings around here in July, August time, that we have a really strong supporter base behind us here at Capello.
And staying on the topic of season tickets, what is the expectation of not just yourself but the board around sales as well?
I think when you put into context the way of the world right now, it is tough for everyone. We've slightly adapted the offering in terms of the partnership that Fanbase have with Klarna, which makes it easier to do the payment plan and have various payment options. We've also, as I said earlier, we've touched on the early bird, which I think is vital for supporters at this time. It is that busy time of the season, and personally my expectation is if we can add that 10% on to what we had last year, that ultimately will be success. I want to be sitting here in 2-3 years' time saying that when I sat here in May 2024, we've added 40%, but that has to start somewhere, and hopefully by the time the first game swings around, we'll be in a healthier position than we were this time last year.
And a recent addition as well was the newly launched Team Ton. Can you give us a bit of background of where that came from and how the uptake's been so far?
So I think a lot of people that know me know that I have a very good relationship with Brian McLaughlin in Morton in the community, and we've known each other for a long time. The one thing that we are looking at is a community engagement strategy around the club and how we better integrate with the local community and the local people. One of those key areas was that under 12s area where we have seen growth this season, and we, if you look at the last home game against Wraith, we had the wee band of loyals down in the Sinclair Street end, and we want to find a way to give them a sense of belonging. We can't just expect kids to turn up and not be engaged with and expect them to come back. So by having Team Ton, it gives us an opportunity to really build something special and something unique, and then it becomes its own form of supporters club. We're going to bring all the members in here to sign their Team Ton contracts, and they'll get their welcome packs and everything like that. And I think it's really exciting for young people. We've got things that we want to do throughout the year to keep them engaged, and what we want to do ideally is grow it. I think people will see, Team Ton is not a money-making exercise for the football club in any way, shape or form. We're covering costs with it, but it's more to retain and keep that engagement with that age group.
And sticking on the commercial side of things, we've recently just launched the new home kit as well, and of course we've got Capello kick-off coming up for the opening of the Euros. It's a busy time, isn't it?
It is, and one thing when I came in, and I remember asking the question, aside from match days, what do we use a stadium for? And there was a lot of blank faces. and we do have to use the facility that we've got here. Do we have the biggest suites in the world? No, we don't, but how we use them is on us. I would like to see us use the stadium more for a variety of events, for venue hire. We are looking at rebranding the kind of stadium as a hire facility and making it its own entity at the moment, just to give us that lift in how many people we can get in here, how many people we can get using the facility. Like you say, with the kit launch as well, very, very successful launch. I have to pay testament to everybody that was involved in the launch, not in the launch, sorry, in the design of the kits for this year. I know the supporters picked one, and when you get that harmony and that unison, and I got a message about 20 minutes after launch that somebody had been into Smiths and seen it, and their father-in-law, who had recently passed away, their name was on it, and it was a really poignant touch. When I was at Ross County, we did something similar when we launched the Staggies Army in COVID, and we had a shirt with all the members' names on it, and it does give everyone that sense of belonging, that sense of togetherness. And I think what people will be beginning to see is how hard a club we are at trying to get things moving in the right direction, and we are trying to think outside the box. People have seen we've signed a new deal with JJB Steelcraft in Paisley, and we've just signed a new agreement with Match-Worn Shirt as well. So we are trying to explore every avenue possible to make the club more sustainable and give us the best opportunity to be successful off the park as well as on the park.
And at this time of the year, one thing that's always reviewed is the key partnerships. Is there any information you can give us on that and where we're based?
I'm absolutely delighted to be able to sit here and say that, Dalrada, Hungry Squirrel, Cardwell, AGM Group recommitted to the football club in terms of the main kit. There was a brilliant piece done with Andy Millen down at Cardwell that went online, and it's not just getting these partnerships over the line, it's how we manage these partnerships and how we maximise the impact that the partners get out of being associated with a football club. There's a lot of work going into that right now in terms of how we elevate that. We do still have partnerships that we're working on right now. We want to put forward partnerships that the club's not had before, and really make sure that we're maximising the coverage that we can give partners when they come into the fold. We also have the women's team, which we're kind of re-looking at with partnerships right now, and how we can better deliver a commercial income into the women's team so we can help that to grow and thrive. So there's a lot to be positive about in a commercial sense, but again, we have the 150th anniversary this year, which we've had a couple of really successful events so far, and we've got a few on the horizon, from the golf day to we've got our next An Evening With coming up in June. So there's a lot going on, and what we want to do is make sure that across everything we do there is something there for everyone, and I would just want to pay tribute as well to everyone that came to our Hall of Fame Player of the Season dinner. Thank Emma Dodds who hosted the evening. It was a really good night, and it was nice for me in my first role at that dinner to be able to go up and thank everyone. And sometimes we do get caught up in the day-to-day, and we have to step back and appreciate everything across the whole season.
And something else that people are always quite keen to hear about is the progression of the pitch. I know renovations obviously started already. How are things progressing? It's
been a lot quicker than I expected. Majority of summers I've gone into, it's always meant pitches getting dug up pretty severely and a lot of money being spent into it. I think everyone here appreciates that we're probably not at that level, but I have to pay tribute to the ground staff here and the contractors that came in for how quickly they moved. After the Wraith game, we had a week where we had all of the community football teams on Capello training, which was fabulous for the football club. And then we were able to get straight to work on Saturday the 3rd of May. The majority of work is now being concluded, and it's now about getting the pitch back ready for action, which is not far away. There was a lot of humidity in the air over the past couple of days, so the grass has grown pretty rapidly.
And during this period as well, there's always a lot going on, a lot to plan for next season. But what are the main things that you're working on at this moment in time?
$1 million question. There is a lot, but we have to temper that. I think I said it in the last catch up that we did, Gareth, that I'm quite an impatient person, but the passion is there from the board of directors and myself to get things right in every aspect. Since I've come in, there's areas of the club that have had to have more attention than others, and what we have to do now is make sure that we have the plans in place to drive every part of the club forward. We're working hard on that commercial remit right now because it's that time of year. The football department obviously takes precedence at this time as well, and then we have to look at, for example, this is the time of year when things like the safety certificate come up, so there's a lot of breadth of work to be done on that. So there are so many things going on, and it's about getting the right people in the right positions to make sure that we maximise every opportunity we've got. Again, we are a small staff, but we're a passionate group, and everyone wants to pull in the same direction, and we just need to make sure that we get the maximum output out of every member of staff in this building to make sure that we meet our aims and ambitions. There's a couple of things that I'll openly admit that we have fallen a wee bit short on, which has been disappointing, but there is certainly a feeling from me and the board that we have that bit between our teeth to go and make sure that we deliver on all areas.
Yeah, you talk about delivering there. Is this the time of the year where you feel the pressure's really on to deliver?
For me, the pressure's on every day. I don't take this job for granted, so there's not a day where you come into the building that you don't feel the pressure in my position. A lot of people know that I'm the first one in here and the last one to leave every day. It's normally sat at my desk for 6:45, 7 in the morning, and you're lucky if you're away at 6:30, 7 at night. I feel the pressure from the supporters, I feel the pressure from the board of directors, and I feel the pressure from the departments in the football club to make sure that we are where we need to be. Are we 100% where I would like us to be? No. And I'll take the accountability that comes with that, but there's pressure certainly on me every day from myself, and nobody out there will put any more pressure on me than me. But there's certainly, from my perspective, we've had an okay kind of 6-7 months. We now need to ramp up the levels again with the staff internally to make sure that the outputs, the targets, and the achievements are where I want them to be.
And just finally, Dale, can you provide us maybe a bit of an idea of the aims that, in terms of what the club's wanting to achieve over the next 12 months?
Can we sit here in 12 months and say the club is in a better position is ultimately the aim. We've launched a club strategy that we are really keen to stick to as much as physically possible. I'll give you an example. Our club licensing is due next month, and we are striving as hard as possible to make sure that the first submission that goes in is the best submission, and we're not sitting here with 14, 15 areas that we need to readdress. We want a football team on the pitch that's going to go and compete to a similar level again next year, if not higher. But everyone knows the competitive nature of this division and the teams that will come into this division from the Premier League and from League One, and the challenges that brings. I think off the field, we want to make sure that we're delivering better services for supporters. We want to make sure we're delivering better services for our partners, and I would love to sit here in a year's time and just review the whole thing and go, right, 18 months in, have we come to a place where supporters feel we are better than where we were 18 months previous? And if not, there's one person that will be hit for that, and that'll be me. But I really believe that we are not a million miles away, and we have the right direction to travel. It's purely about lifting everyone's levels in the building and making sure that we're all fighting with the same intensity, we're all throwing punches at the same weight, and that when we can bring the team, the staff and the supporters together, then we can achieve that success for the long term, and not just for 6 months, 12 months, but let's make this success for the next 5, 10 years of the football club.